Am I the asshole for refusing to watch my grandchildren overnight twice a week? I have 3 children, 30 male, 28 female and 20 female. My son has 3 children, my oldest daughter has 3 also and my youngest has 1. When my oldest grandchild turned 1 I'd occasionally have him overnight to give my son and Dill a break. Then as more came along I'd watch them too, but now I feel it's at a point I can't cope with watching 7 children all in the one night like my children have wanted me to do, so I've been watching them in groups of 2 to 4 once a week or so. I don't want to sound like I don't care about my grandchildren, but I had my oldest child at 14. My parents refused to help raise my children apart from paying for the basics until I turned 16, which was obviously their choice, so from a young age I've worked full-time while raising children. I've told my children on several occasions that I don't mind helping out now and then with overnight visits, but at the same time I want to go traveling etc. Now I have some time to myself and also finally work on my career. I always take my grandchildren, children and their partners out once a week for a big family dinner, and I see my grandchildren several times a week between that. Today my 3 children came over together and told me they'd been talking and they felt I'm not pulling my weight when it comes to helping with my grandchildren. They've asked that I watch all the children every Friday and Saturday night so they can get some time to themselves and their partner. I told them no, watching all 7 children is exhausting for 2 days in a row every week as they're so excited to see each other, and it's also lots of work getting 7 children fed, bathed and into bed. As a compromise I said I'd watch either all 7 one night every second weekend or continue as things are watching them once a week in smaller groups. They're not happy at this at all. They said as the children's gran I should be expected to help out so things aren't so stressful for them as parents. I already help out financially by paying for each grandchild to go to 2 after-school activities a week. I understand my children are probably stressed from dealing with the kids all day every day through lockdown, and I'm happy to make up for that time by watching them a bit more often for a few months, but am I such a horrible person for not wanting to give up my entire weekend on a weekly basis? They've left me to think it over, but I've told them I won't change my mind. I'll also add that they've all admitted they aren't done having more children, with my son saying they're currently trying for a 4th, so I don't know what they expect me to do as numbers increase. Edit. Thank you everyone for your comments. I've responded and read as many as I can for tonight, but it's 2 a.m. and my eyes are closing. I'll try reply to any more tomorrow. You've all been very kind and thank you for the awards too.
NTA. Not pulling your weight. What the ever-loving fuck. You raised your kids. It's their responsibility to raise theirs. Period.
Why not have them watch each other's kids, on a rotating basis? They are just as qualified as watching kids as you. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Your grandchildren are the responsibility of their parents, not your responsibility. From what you say, it seems like you're already contributing and helping far more than the average grandparent, both financially and with regard to how much time you devote to them. It is entirely reasonable for you to state that you can't do anything more, and in fact want to start doing less, for your own sake.
Not the asshole. That's a huge and absurd ask on their parts. Maybe suggest the kids rotate the grandkids for the weekends so they get 2 out of 3 weekends off? But geez, do your children not like their own kids or something? I can't imagine not wanting your kids on the weekends at all. And then trying for more.
Wow. Talk about entitlement. Heck no, not the asshole. They think they all deserve kid-free weekends? But you don't? They shouldn't have had children if they didn't want to parent on the weekend. Your kids are being real selfish. Keep your weekends for yourself. You've earned them.
Not the asshole. You are a grandparent, you have no weight to pull when it comes to those kids. You already seem to do a lot for your family. Your kids seem like selfish little bastards that want to take advantage of your giving nature. Cut them off for a while, give yourself a break. Maybe they'll be more appreciative of what you do for them.
Not the asshole. Holy crap. You're already doing so much above and beyond. Paying for 2 after-school activities for each kid. Watching them weekly for them. Your kids sound super entitled to your time. Take the time off, they wanted the kids, they need to not be reliant on grandma constantly taking shifts. The grandkids are not your responsibility to parent, and it's not on you if they can't get a night out. I'm also assuming here, but they don't pay you to watch them, do they? Otherwise, they wouldn't have an issue with getting a sitter twice a weekend. This sounds incredibly selfish.
Today my 3 children came over together and told me they'd been talking and they felt I'm not pulling my weight when it comes to helping with my grandchildren. First off, I can't believe they said that to you. They as parents should be looking after their children, they are the ones that decided in the first place to have them. And then they demand you to look after all 7 every weekend? 1. Ask them if they are going to pay you for babysitting. 2. Tell them they are the parents, not you. I'll also add that they've all admitted they aren't done having more children, with my son saying they're currently trying for a 4th. Why are they trying for more kids? It's clear they can't handle the ones they have now. So no you're not the a-hole, but your grown adult children are.
Not the asshole. Your job as a grandma is to be able to do fun things with them and then hand them back to mom and dad when it stops being fun. You are not built in childcare. 7 children at one time told me they'd been talking and they felt I'm not pulling my weight when it comes to helping with my grandchildren. What? Wait. Grandparents are not obligated in any way to take on childcare responsibilities. That's between the 2 people who brought the child into the world.
Not the asshole, and no offense, but it looks like you raised some entitled little shits.
Not the asshole, they are lucky you take them at all. You sound like an amazing grandma. You raised your kids, now it's their turn. 7 kids 2 nights in a row is too much to ask ever, let alone 1 a week. They want every weekend off. LMAO, ya no.
Not the asshole. Not pulling your weight. You already raised your kids. You don't have to raise your grandkids too. Plan your travels and just tell them no because you're busy. My parents never see my daughter. I used to set things up, but they've never taken an active interest in my life, let alone hers, even though she was the first grandkid, so I stopped wasting the time and effort. My in-laws take her occasionally and she likes the time she spends there, but I would never force her on anyone. And she's only 1 kid. I'm sure your kids are stressed, but that's what happens when you have a bunch of kids. You are kind enough to pay for activities and take them on occasion. They shouldn't be expecting more. Not the asshole. At all. I'm sorry, as you sound like a wonderful person, but your children sound super entitled. You're not pulling your weight. What weight? Your job was to raise your children, which you did. You did not force them to have children. They chose to themselves, and raising their own children is their job, not yours. If they want breaks, why don't they ask their partner's parents for help? Or set up a rotation between the 3 of them to watch each other's children, i.e. son watches all the children one Friday, daughter one watch them next Friday, etc.
I'm sorry, what? Every week you babysit, you pay for a meal for 7 adults and 7 children, you pay for 14 after-school activities. And they want more? What? What are they doing for you? How are they showing you appreciation for your generosity? Not the asshole. Except for maybe letting them get away with this bullshit. It is your time to prioritize yourself, and it is their responsibility to support that. If you want to treat them to a meal or something every now and then, have at it, but their expectation that you do everything you're currently doing is ridiculous and selfish, let alone expecting even more. Not the asshole. Why are your kids so entitled? Holy shit. If they chose to have children, then it is 100% their responsibility to take care of those children and 0% yours. If you choose to do nice things like helping them financially or watching the grandkids here and there, then that is a gift you're giving them, not something you owe them. There is no pulling your weight. Those aren't your kids, not your weight. You need to set healthy boundaries and go on long-ass vacation as soon as COVID allows. Not the asshole. Holy cow, not the asshole. I'll tell you who are the assholes, all of your children and their partners. They are the ones who decided to have children. They are the responsible parents. They are the ones who need to pull their own weight and take care of their own children. How did they get so entitled that they came over to you as a gang to tell you that you are not doing your part? Did you take part in the decision for them to have children? And they need a break for the 2 nights of each weekend? Have they ever heard of hiring a babysitter? And what about the other grandparents? These parents are just trying to pawn off their responsibilities completely. Your son saying he is trying to have a 4th. Tell him he better keep it in his pants until he learns what responsibility is. How about you let them know you are moving away for work? What would their response be then? Sheesh. You raised their children, you are done. Where are the other set of grandparent?
You are a fucking saint. 7 grandchildren. At once. Regularly. Oh my gosh. Wow. They have no idea what they've got in you. All 7. Wow. 7. At once. Alone. Wow. I've been a sitter for 4 kids and my own 4 days a week after school for a few hours, for which I was paid, and that was overwhelming and exhausting. Pulling your own weight. Really? Really? That's entirely too over-entitled. You don't have to pull any weight just like your parents didn't, and unlike them you're being a good mum and helping. They're being demanding and unappreciative. Not okay. Not okay at all. Not the asshole at all, Saint Op.
Not the asshole. It is not your job as a grandparent to also be a babysitter. It's kind of you to help, and your compromises were more than reasonable. It can't be cheap to feed 7 kids 3 times a day as well as provide entertainment and activities.
Not the asshole. No is a complete sentence. Do what you feel comfortable with and nothing more. Might I suggest that your children help each other out and host their nieces and nephews to give each other time off, if they need it. The grandma job is supposed to be fun. Don't let your kids steal that from you by overloading you with their responsibilities. Not the asshole. They want you to watch 7 grandchildren at once? Oh heck no. You're doing more than enough. Hold your ground. You're entitled to enjoy your life.
Show them this post. Let them read it throughly. If my math is correct, you are still very young and have already done your time raising your children. Grandparents are not responsible for raising their grandkids. You want your time with your grandkids to be enjoyable, not a stressful experience. Tell your kids to grow the hell up and stop making kids if they cannot look after them on their own. Enjoy your life. Pursue your career further. Do you for once in life. This does not mean you do not love your grandkids any less. If anything, it should make them proud of you for accomplishing your dreams after you finished raising your kids.
I've never commented or posted on Reddit before, but should know, if your heart is so big that you truly can't see that you're not the asshole here, your grandchildren are extremely lucky to have you. But here's the advice I give in real life: take the flight attendant's advice and put on your own oxygen mask first. What the heck are your kids even going to do every Friday and Saturday if it's not getting together and talking about how damn lucky they are that you watch the kids as often as you do already? Say no and show them this thread. I also support the idea of having them rotate weekly. What parent thinks they get weekends off?
Not the asshole. Watching them every Friday and Saturday would greatly increase the chances of more little monsters being made.
Not the asshole. I mean, you're doing so much more than most grandparents. It sounds like they want free babysitting. And maybe they miss their non-baby life. But pushing you to look after 7 kids every weekend is a lot. I'd suggest start booking your vacations and just saying, sorry, I'm away this week. Not the asshole. I would cut it off entirely. I would visit them, attend birthdays, other holidays, and be in their lives in general. But it's not take on the responsibility of parenting their children for them. It's not right that they all would try to guilt trip you into taking on that many kids. It seems they're not very appreciative of what you've done for them up to this point, most likely because if they acknowledge the amount of work they've put on you, they might have to admit it's an unreasonable expectation, which is manipulative. Based on the fact that they're planning for more, while simultaneously trying to guilt you into providing free childcare for them all right now, I would cut it off completely now and make it clear it's non-negotiable for the future when babies number 8 and 9 come along and consistently refuse, so there's no longer an expectation.
As an aside, if my daughter came to me 13/14 and pregnant, I'd be on the warpath because that's far too young to be able to consent to sex. If the father happened to be another kid, I'd not be okay with it but less horrified. I would under no circumstances treat her like a burden for being pregnant. That's too young. Even if she opted to keep a baby I didn't want. Your parents did you dirty. You came out beautifully.
Not the asshole. It was their choice to have kids and not your responsibility to have 7 kids Friday and Saturday.
Not the asshole. You sound like a saint of a grandma and they need to hire a damn babysitter.
Not the asshole. My aunt and uncle had a similar situation. They live in the next country and just recently they escaped here not to have to watch their grandchildren daily. They literally ran away from their own family because they were exhausted. The situation went way too far and they had no idea how to fix it. Everyone in the family is fighting because nobody wants to be the babysitter, but everyone wants someone else to watch over the kids. It's a whole mess. Don't give in. Stand your ground. They chose to have children, they now have to parent them. I'd say not to agree to anything, really you're already helping them financially, it's ridiculous they also expect you to work on a schedule.
Not the asshole. Your children are expecting you to do far too much as you do enough already. Having 7 grandchildren every weekend is way too much work. Are their partner's parents involved at all? If so, why aren't they able to look after their grandchildren every week, every other week? I know there's different grandparents for each set of partner. Also, as an alternative, surely your children could each take it in turns to have all of the children to give each other a break. If they did, they might see the amount of effort you are and would be putting in. Also paying for each grandchild to go to 2 after-school activities a week, and this is how your children thank you. I hope they learn to be grateful for all the things you do.
Not the asshole, not in any way. Please update us on what happens next.
Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. I almost hope this is a fake post and you're trolling us. I know a lot of grandparents regularly babysit their grandchildren, but that's because they want to spend time with them, not because they're expected to pitch in. That's bullshit. And 7 and at once 2 nights a week. That's insane to expect of anyone. If they think it's no big deal to watch 7 kids, how about they take turns watching all the kids so the other parents can have a night off?
Not the asshole. If I were in your shoes I would not watch any of them for a few months. Then see if your children suddenly appreciate what you do.
Why don't your 3 kids make an arrangement where they take turns with all 7? Every couple gets 2 Saturdays kid-free, and 1 Saturday is a giant sleepover. At least make them try this for a while and then they will probably understand how exhausting 7 kids are at once.
Not pulling your weight. How dare they? I would never say such a thing to my mother. I would feel terrible for even asking for the odd babysitting. My mother would exhausted. Be strong and be firm here. You are not the asshole. I'm so sorry you got cornered like this. Not the asshole. 7 kids for 2 nights? Shit, I feel for you. Don't answer the door the next time they come over, lol. They are asking too much of you.
They felt I'm not pulling my weight when it comes to helping with my grandchildren. You're doing above and beyond what is expected from a grandparent. You had a responsibility to your kids and you raised them, now they have a responsibility to theirs. Your grandchildren should be a pleasure to have over, not a burden. You deserve some time and peace for yourself. If they're so stressed out and tired, why can't the kids stay over at their aunts' uncles' houses in turns? That way each set of parents gets a break and the responsibility isn't all on you.
OMG, I wish my parents were half as helpful as you are. Taking 7 children simultaneously overnight is ridiculous.
This has to be a troll. Surely this could never happen in real life. Right.
Totally not the asshole. They discussed and they decided. Did you force them to conceive at gunpoint or something? They can't handle 3 and expect you to handle 7. That's insane. Question: can I interest you in adopting a slightly used child in her mid-30s? You are being extremely generous with your time and resources. My husband and I have 2 kids and all 4 parents still alive, and married. We average a one-night sleepover once, maybe twice a year with each grandparent. You're offering twice a month. That's co-parenting territory. You're definitely not the asshole and I hope you show your adult kids this and they figure out how ungracious they're being.
This is bonkers. 7 kids overnight? That's like a job. When was the last time any of your children had all 7 kids overnight? Let them rotate amongst themselves if they need a break too. Nights a week. Not the asshole.
Why doesn't one kid watch all the kids each weekend then take turns? Frankly, you've raised a bunch of rude, selfish, unreasonable, and ungrateful kids. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. If I read this right, you were a single parent and had no help from your own parents after the age of 16. So, your children literally watched you own life to give them the best and their thank you is to say you need to give them a break from their own kids more often when they have partners to help bear the load? Ha 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 ha. Your children need a reality check. FFs. I agree with making the 3 siblings rotate the 7 kids every weekend if they need a break, lol. Maybe don't travel ATM but definitely start doing things for you. You have been raising kids since you were 1, you have earned a break. Not the asshole. Of course they are stressed, but they can't just expect you to take 7 children for 2 days a week on top of everything you already do. I am also really upset for you in how they've reacted to you setting your limits. You shouldn't be treated so rudely for having limits. Book yourself a holiday in country for the moment, but just a few days away to be somewhere different. Give yourself a few days of having a life outside of your role in the family, and give them a few days to calm down and realize that they can't expect to use you as part of their routine, and to give some thought into being a bit more independent. Hopefully a few days, and they'll realize how much they are asking and how unfair it is.
I am a grandmother of 2 12-year-olds and an 8-month-old. I cannot believe how ungrateful and entitled your children are. Did they actually fix their teeth, lips and tongue to form words that said you aren't pulling your weight? That's some unmitigated gall right there. They should be blessed you are watching them as frequently as you are, and you need to stand up for yourself with them. Your grandchildren should be bringing you pleasure, not work and exhaustion, and you should tell your kids in no uncertain terms that they need an attitude adjustment, and quick. I honestly can't get over their nerve in asking you to be a weekend parent. I haven't yet looked at any other responses to you, but I hope they're what I think they'll be, and that they'll help you see how completely out of line your kids are being. Asshole, not the asshole.
Do you know what I'd give for someone to take my child overnight once a week? Definitely at least a tow or something. Seriously, you are already going way over and above and are very much not the asshole. Your kids are taking advantage of you. Put your foot down and maintain your boundaries. Also, if you're in the market for another grandkid, may I volunteer?
Not the asshole. Don't these entitled people have in-laws they can dump the kids on?
Info: why are your kids so entitled? Did you raise them to be spoiled? Why would they ever think their behavior is appropriate? Not the asshole, 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 not the asshole. What the heck is wrong with your kids? Seriously. If my parents had been willing to take even one of my kids overnight on a regular basis, I would have been thrilled. It's not like you aren't helping at all, which by the way you are perfectly entitled to do, but they think they should dictate how much you help. Tell them you are going on vacation. Their attitudes determine whether it will be a couple weeks or permanent. If they don't stop with their crap, it will be permanently.